Death will be an imaginary loss of an imaginary self. Those words were penned by Father Richard Rohr in one of his many books. But they've kind of stayed with me because I don't think I have really all the way understood what they mean. But they certainly captured my attention. Death will be an imaginary loss of an imaginary self. We go through lives on earth thinking ourselves separate. Consequently, it ends up being all about you, and it ends up being all about me. And that becomes the basis of all the stupid things we say and all the stupid things we do. When we live with this sense of separateness, that little sense of self too easily takes offense when people don't show us the proper respect. That separate self lies and steals and can do very unkind things to other people, because when I live out of a sense of separateness, it ends up being all about me and protecting me and defending me and promoting me. When we live with a sense of separateness, we end up trying too hard, trying ourselves to manufacture this oneness in my relationships when it really actually already exists. It's already there. It's a given. I can relax. Not only do we try too hard, it seems to me, we fret. We fret that we're not doing it right. We fret that somebody or another is mad at us, that we said the wrong thing, or we made a fool out of ourselves and nobody likes us after a dinner party or whatever, and so they're probably going to leave too. We fret about this stuff a lot, even in the night. Relax. Relax. Relax and trust that we're already one. It's already here. In our life, spiritually speaking, it's trying to overcome that false sense, the false sense of separateness, that illusory sense that I am somehow separate from you. And what death is then is to return to the source from which we came, where we are all one. Our religious word for that is heaven. The Catholic word for that is the communion of saints. That radical union with God and with my neighbor and even within myself. The whole gospel message is there and nothing else really. And it is why you came here this morning, to go to communion, to realize eventually that we are in communion, that we are more one than that we are many. And probably no gospel says this more exactly and clearly and forthrightly than today's gospel. Jesus uses marvelous images of a vine and the branches. I am the vine, and my Father is the vine grower, and you are the branches. As long as you remain in that unity, which is basically love, when you are loving, you are in union. Whenever you do anything unloving, in that moment, you separate yourself from that union. You're doing it out of a sense, at least, of disunion. Jesus says, that state is useless. Once the branch is cut off, once you are separated, you might as well throw the whole thing into the fire because it's not going to bear any fruit. My friends, this is a very strong statement about ourselves. In our state of separation, we simply do things in a not so good kind of way, in a selfish and self-centered kind of way. So every spiritual discipline is somehow to reconnect us to this state of absolute union, or at best to wake us up to that already existing union. Truth is, you have never been separate from God, except in your mind, of course, and your mind can't make it so. You are not separate from the other people in this room right now. You are not separate from them. You are more one than you are many. It does not look that way, I know. But in the end, that is what eternity is going to reveal. That's going to be what eternity finally makes clear. That we are all one. And the problem is, we don't even know it. That unity extends beyond this room. It extends beyond Americans. It extends beyond Catholics. It extends beyond white people and beyond straight people. Beneath all the superficial differences, we are all one. We always were, we are, and we always will be one in God. We are one. I am the vine and you are the branches. That unity extends beyond geography. As many of our students prepare to head out from here all over the world in just the next 2 weeks, really, and our graduating students for the rest of their lives, the goodbyes can be fraught with no small amount of fear. But this deep sense of the oneness that is can be a great consolation, because in this oneness, time and space totally collapse. Even death itself collapses. If we could live this way, my friends, every hour, I try to, but it does not always work. I keep forgetting, especially when I get scared, I keep forgetting. For others, it's when they get mad. For me, it's when I get scared. We pull back into the self, and we pout in our hurt, and we complain, and we ignore people in our disappointment and our fear. It's all we can do. Because that little branch cut off can do nothing, can do nothing. So Jesus says, stay, remain in me as I remain in you. His union is forever. His union with you is forever. The only question is from the other side. Do you choose to live in that union? Do you choose to act, to live your life consonant with the union that is, already is? Every time you do anything with respect, with compassion, with care, with love, in service, you are operating in union. That's the easiest rule of thumb, really. And whatever I do out of honest concern for another person, especially the stranger, and most especially my enemy, that means that in that moment, whatever you experience in union with that person, that means that that moment of union with another, you are in love. You are in union. You are acting and living and consistent with the rest of the reality that is our world. If we try to live nothing more than this, if we try to do nothing more than this, it would be more than enough discipline, more than enough exercise for our entire spiritual life, for your whole life, actually. This is far more demanding than simply obeying the 10 Commandments. To really live in love, to really live in union, is the task of your whole life and mine. And if we choose to live in that union, if we remain in this state, we will bear fruit. If we choose to live aware of that connection between all and this good earth, we will bear fruit. You know, when I ask people if they've ever had what they would call a religious experience, most say, after some hesitation, yes. Some have never, ever talked about it with another human being for fear of being misunderstood. But I have to say, most describe it, when I do ask them to tell me about it, most describe it as a deep sense of the unity of everything. This all of a sudden awareness that everything is one. It's like, at least for that one brief moment, the curtain is pulled back and we get to see it, what was there all the time. It's a powerful, powerful thing. No wonder Rohr could say, and I think I kind of get it now, death will be an imaginary loss of an imaginary self. All is one. All is one. All is one.